Was. Give that man another round of applause. He was fierce in that song, and the power in his voice. I'm so lucky when I look out in this crowd, I see so many familiar faces. I met Reverend Wallace, I don't know, 12 years ago in Montclair working as principal there. I saw his face when I walked up, and then I see some of your faces here too, and I realize I'm in great company. And I'm also partnered with, I think, about everyone in the room, and many of those guys who left and spoke earlier, particularly the street teams, have done amazing work for our young people in keeping them safe, making sure they get to school, partnering with my team, giving information, providing information, sharing information on the weekend. We're never off. And so I'm so proud of that group of men and women who stand on the streets after schools, before schools, and now we are even working to get some of those services in the building. So we believe in being practical about the way we face our work or approach our work. I heard the theme of today's information, the fierce urgency of now. And I thought, oh my goodness, that sounds like me in meetings, right? So I'm the superintendent of schools. My name is James Earle. I've been in Trenton now, back in Trenton. This is ending my 4th year. I was principal from 2006 to 2009. So been here, so I'm ending my 7th year. And often when I'm speaking and when I'm in meetings and when I'm in spaces, I scream, why is this not urgent? Why is it not urgent that our children have every opportunity, every amount of access, every amount of compassion that we can offer them? Urgent to the point that I'm often considered angry, right? So I'm just downright angry about the fact that we are oppressed. I don't want to live in it. I don't want our children to grow up in it, and I don't want them to accept it. So I thought as I was listening, I would just share a few stories. I'll connect my life, then talk about what we do, like legitimately, practically what we do. There's no way to do that in a short time, but I appreciate having minutes to just hit some highlights. So I want to talk about my father, Jim, right? They called him Jim, Big Jim, as a matter of fact. I'm often called that for reasons you can see. Big Jim. My name is James. People call me that. So he was in my life, different from Andrew Bobbitt. He was in my life every day. But he was alcoholic, abusive, mean, and everything you could think about regarding a person. And I grew up in that as a boy. So that was my model. And I had other models, but he was my model. I hated that kind of system of life because I knew that that wasn't where I wanted to be. So I want to fast forward to Jim and I breaking relationship, rebuilding a relationship. My mom passed and told me I only had one father. And I did not like that comment because she was putting the responsibility square on me. And it was going to help me in life to become a father. So Jim passes away. I drive from New Jersey. He has one brother who lives in New Jersey. We never saw him, so he had a blood brother. We drive down, and I learned about Jim. Jim's mom died when he was 9. His father beat him often. His father shipped him to the elders in South Carolina, where he met my mom. At 12 years old, he dropped out of school, took care of 3 siblings. And then he was drafted to go to the Army in Vietnam and Korea, where he saw some of the most inhumane things in his life. So think about Jim. And on that drive, I learned all about why he was angry every day. The black man who was angry, who broke all the rules, who made me miserable. I learned. And at that time, I learned how to forgive some because I didn't go through that. I went through tough times with him. He did come around And he forced me often to work. I had to do chores. I couldn't go play, couldn't hang out, and couldn't do those things. So fast forward into, I am a gifted carpenter. I can do plumbing. I live in a home that I rarely call someone to do work in because I can do it all. All because he was a father who said, there are no gifts in this world. He understood grit. He knew how to make it. He didn't know how to teach it, but I learned it. So I am thankful for that father in my life. So why do I do this work? I wanted to connect a few more stories, and I'll do the education. So as a superintendent, as a principal, you're the heavy often, right? And so I get a chance often. I saw a young man when I walked in who said, hey, I said, why do I know your face? He said, 2008 graduate. And I went, oh, you're a student, right? So I'm on the hallway recently, and 3 security officers working for Trenton says, they're laughing as I walked up, and they said, we remember you. And I said, oh my gosh, because if you remember me being fierce every day. Hasn't changed. On that hallway, if you weren't in class, I was unapologetic about failing on my watch because I knew what Larry Hamm was talking about. I knew it was coming. Oppression started a long time ago, and you break the cycle by saying, absolutely not on my time. So they laughed and said, we remember a day you came down the hallway, and we were around. They called me, of course, 5-0. They said, 5-0, 5-0, 5-0. And I roll around the corner, and it was on. I caught them all, and I made them feel my urgency for black men and black boys not to repeat some of what we had gone through in our lives. So we laughed about that. I had another young lady tell me, hey, you helped me and my mom complete my application to college. I didn't remember it. I just thought, okay, so yeah, that's the work I do. That's the fierce urgency of now. I'm giving you 3 different cycles. The first story is about the fierceness of black men not failing. The second was connecting you to education. And the third, I met a custodian recently, young lady, and they introduced me and said, hey, this is the superintendent, Mr. Earle. And she said, hey, do you know who the principal was in like 2007? And I said, well, that would have been me. She said, oh my gosh, do you remember me? And I said, I don't know if you're looking. I don't have hair and the mustache is gone. I said, I don't remember. She said, I got hit by a car, and you went to the hospital because I didn't have family to go with me. You stayed in there and you made me laugh, and she came and grabbed me. She was 4, maybe 5 foot, grabbed me around the waist and squeezed me. And she said, you made me feel good, made me feel important. So that's what fathers do in our mistakes, in the tragedy of our lives, in the oppressive nature of this country holding us down. You find your way ahead because all we can do is impact the future. We can learn from the past, but impact the future. So those 2 is examples of my urgency in the work we do in education. It's not about teaching A's, B's, and C's, the math and all that. It's building those foundations for young people so that they believe in themselves, because they're living in some of our systems that give them no hope many times. And so our job as educators, and educators working with me, they know I am fierce every day. I come to work all the time. I sacrifice vacation days, time with my family, everything, because somebody did it for this poor black boy in South Carolina so that I could stand here and talk to you today. So I wanted to connect those. So we are focused on 5 goals in the city, in the district. Student achievement is one, in particular, early literacy. So we know that if you can read, you can compete, right? We must help our young people by grade 3 read as best they can on grade level, because you can actually negotiate, you can critically think. So in goal 1 under student achievement, We're focused on small group instruction. That's getting smaller groups. Don't put them in masses because young people don't learn well, and black boys don't learn as well in masses either. Bring those smaller groups. All people, even us, we do better in small amounts. So we do that. And then project-based learning. Everything's about a project. We want you to actually do something with the academic work. That's the world, because you learn it. You learn how to be a critical thinker. You learn how to present. You learn how to be a teammate. All the things that they're going to face when they get there. How are we helping young black men? If they can do that, they're already ahead in third grade. You can read, and you can be on a team. You can critically think. You can defend yourself. You can actually read a deed to make sure you're not being cheated on a contract to buy a home. We're trying to teach those basic level skills. Under goal 2 is community engagement and partnerships. That's why I stand here with you. I go as many places and as much as I possibly can, and we have a Parent Connect series, a Healing Heart series, where we're teaching parents how to recognize those traumatic opportunities in their children, and then some of how to fix it. So we partner every day teaching those strategies and sharing that information. Under developing the whole child, we're heavily focused on teaching trauma-informed care, not why did you do that? What happened? Why are you arriving? We're talking to children like they're children. They come, they're born, they don't have these things. They're taught by adults. And so we say, what happened? Talk to me. Can we make changes in your life? Can we do those things? So that's under goal 3, and we have restorative practices. My goodness, I am a living, walking restorative practice in color. Someone gave me opportunity after opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, and they're still giving them to me. And so often we arrive in education and go, no, kick you out. You can't come here. You can't stay here. But I'm saying not on my time. We're all about restorative practices in Trenton. We want to build. If you need time out, we're always figuring out how to make sure you get educated so that when you leave, you can do all the stuff that I talked about before. Developing staff development and well-being. Listen, if the adults aren't well, then the kids can't learn from them. So we're focusing on adult well-being. We train. And I believe that when we train, we train. I tell our staff, don't cheat my time. Don't cheat our time. If we're here for 2 hours, give me 2 hours. And when we're done, I'll let you go. So we train on trauma-informed care. Our team should be able to tell you. We have reckless behavior sometimes, just like we do from kids, from adults. And I'm looking at people going, hold on a minute. We don't treat people that way. And we have to actually say it. We actually have to say it like Larry said it. So I'm keeping it PG here, but in the district, I am very clear. You don't treat my children that way. You don't treat our district that way. I defend Trenton because there is way too much talent here. A young man stopped me a few minutes ago just to show me about 2 graduates. We're doing a TPS, Trenton Public School Alumni Spotlight, where we're spotlighting young people who've left here doing great things. Some of you are Trenton graduates. The chaplain, I want to get his story so we can feature him on one of our stories. Tell our story, the real story, the challenge of living in the city, but the success of surviving, right? That's what we're trying to do in Trenton. And then goal 5 is around facilities and infrastructure. There is no reason we shouldn't have high quality facilities, the technology to compete with districts around us. Students deserve it. So I am ultra focused, working with other we call them SDA districts that use the state to build buildings. We have a new school coming on. But I said, okay, so if we can't get new schools, we clean and repair what we have, right? I grew up in subpar housing, but my mom made us clean up every day. We cleaned it. We did everything. The house was nice. I wish that I didn't have to do as much work as I did. So here, if you walk in our buildings, they should be clean. I am focused on the outside of the building. Building needs to look like we're open, and I am neurotic about it. They think something happened because I said the grass is not mowed. There are weeds all over the place. We don't treat our people that way. We, for so long, allowed us to be treated that way. And I am on the record saying we won't do that anymore. And probably, just to wrap up, our most immediate work, wanted to give you an example of the work that's probably connected most to this event. We are in the process of examining our data around disproportionality of students in special education. We are learning that a black boy, because I said it to my staff, don't miss it. This is not about just disproportionality. It's about black boys being referred to special education 7 times higher than their peers. 7 times. And so we're diving into that, and we're saying, well, it's adult-driven. It's in policy. It's in the handbook. It's everywhere we see it. So we're breaking down all of those structures to say, absolutely not. And I'll give you an example of how difficult this is, because when we were having the meeting about it, and I have other colleagues in there, we started talking about, oh my gosh, it's May, and it's busy in May. If you work in a school district, you know it's busy in May. May is the worst time to have to do because it's on fire. I walked into 5 things this morning, right? And so we started talking about how busy it was in May, and this is a load to be placed on us because we're having to do this work by June 30th and submit our plan. And I got up and said, whoa, did you not see this? Like, urgency says, I don't care what May is. I said, May 2025 is busy like May 2024, and will be busy like May 2026. We are doing this. I will not sit in another meeting, and I was looking at the presentation going, I won't sit in a meeting and look at 7 times higher again. We are going to work. We are making sure our young men, and the caveat is they were referred because of behavior. Okay, so I don't know about you, but I was, and I want to say it the right way, but a fool when I was a kid. I did all kind of crazy stuff. Someone said, did you ever hang on doors and swing on doors in your house? And I said, I swung on everything. We built swings. So we don't want to take behavior and say you should be in special education. We want special education to be for students who need services. But we don't want all of our black boys in there because they acted out. They tapped each other. They punched each other. And they came in angry. That's what that trauma-informed is for. So you don't say, oh, I got to refer him to the counselor. Talk to that child, that young man, and say, what's going on? And then we had another meeting, which was the day before break. And one of my colleagues said, Mr. Earle, you still having that meeting? And I said, so we had a 4-day week, not a 3-day week, right? This work is urgent, so we were the only group there at 5 or 6 o'clock before Memorial Day break, still working on that. How do we solve it? Everyone had to create a plan. Then we're coming together to create a common plan. So I share those stories with you because that's the practical application of education. It's how we do the work. It's how we plan to do the work. We don't always know the answer, but you work. You do something, as someone else said a few minutes ago. Freedom said, we have a lot of talkers. Do something. Move something. I say that often. And I walk out of meetings thinking I can't be in this because I need to know what I need to do. We have to do something. We have to plan. And we have to know our history to be smart about not repeating it. But boy, we have to do the work to plan to be, to move forward. So I think all of you, I am almost embarrassed to stand on the shoulders of all these men and women who spoke before me and know that, when I heard your song and I heard Larry Hamm, I had a chance to hear him speak in Montclair too. thinking, I don't have the words to share with you all like they do, the power in it. But when it comes to education, we educate every part of the human. I want you to know that. And I don't believe that an education happens from the ages of 6 to 18. That's the system that was built for us. That's right. I am faithfully going to fight to extend high school. Like, can we get 6 years? Because if I walk into, and the people we serve may walk into our settings not ready to learn. We have to do that first. We have to clothe sometimes. We have over 400 homeless families. Oh, they're real concerned about education sometimes. They're not. They're focused on shelter, food, clothing, and the basic needs. And we have wonderful structures in the district to address those things, so then we can educate you. So I'm a firm believer that we pour everything we can into young people now, and if we don't get you across the finish line in the time that's been set for us, we're here when you're ready to finish, because we have some extended opportunities. So I am so thankful to be able to share with you today, and so thankful to hear some of the messages that all of you brought, and thank you for organizing the event and inviting me to speak. Thank you very much.